Hey guys, and welcome back to another week of the Both Sides Podcast. Gotta switch up the intro a little bit for you guys.
Yo,
Gotta
Jesus,
spice it up.
I just want to say that you're a bird.
Bloop, bloop. Oh, that's not the sound they make. What is that?
What? Sounds such a bird.
What is the sound? Oh, chirp, chirp. All right. So anyway.
Lady. Professional at all times.
This is professional. So anyway, welcome back to another week. I'm here with Chima, obviously, because
Yo, guys, what's up? What's up, y'all? Hope you guys have been has been good since the last time you heard from us. Hope nobody got into trouble. Hope nobody got fired. Hope nobody had a trip to the HR's office. You know,
damn, it's still a couple weeks in the new month, in the new year. I would hope none of that happens.
This year has been going by. This month has been going by so slowly. And
you think?
I'm tired of it. Like, I'm tired of this month going by so slowly, man.
We already on the 18th. How much faster do you want it to get?
I don't know. For some reason, I just feel like it's just going too. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. It's just very slow. I think by now we should be at least maybe in ending the first week of February.
Wow.
Yeah, I think so. But you know, time is, I guess, relative. I guess depending on how you're doing in life. So it
sure is, because I feel like this month is going slow. So.
Yep. But yeah, guys, just hope everything's been good. You know, we want to thank the Lord and whoever you prayed to that we've made it to another week, and you know, let's get shit popping.
Yeah, so we have a lot to talk about this week. Not really, but
not really a lot. Enough.
But enough, right? So first, I don't know why. I think you guys have nothing to do. I'm convinced. Y'all just want to do something to make your life seem so exciting. I think y'all bored.
Very bored. I think this is a first world problem. This is something that only people with nothing else to do, with abundance, I guess, with a lot of time on their hands, who are in this social media age. And it's really upsetting that this has made headlines. It's upsetting that I'm even taking the time out to talk about this on, you know, on the podcast. It's really sad that we have people here, I won't say grown adults. These are people who can make good and bad decisions, who know what is right and wrong, sitting at home, you know, pulling up the internet and chewing Tide Pods. I don't understand it. I don't get it. You know, there's some things that you say, okay, maybe they were doing this for, you know, maybe some kind of social media clout, you know. What's the reasoning behind chewing laundry detergent?
There's nothing. There's no reason behind it. And that's why I am honestly perplexed as to why people are doing it. And I think they said a few people got poisoned by it, right?
Good. I'm happy. This is natural selection. The Lord needs to take these people, the nature needs to take these people out, because we don't need people like this growing up and making decisions for humanity. When you think it's okay for you to chew Tide Pods. Is this something and the thing
is, I'm trying to figure out, like, how did this even start? Like, hey, I'm sitting here bored at home. I'm doing some laundry. Let me see how detergent will taste.
I think they were saying that it looks a lot like candy. So because it looks like candy, I think people were chewing it. And from there, you know, with social media that has pretty much, I don't know, I think what you would say has caused some mental health issues or I don't know what it is, but with the rise of social media, you see people doing a lot more stupid things just for clout or some kind of attention that they may not necessarily have in their lives. And for you to think, okay, let me chew these Tide Pods and I'll get retweets, I'll get likes, you know, I have people commenting, I'll be famous for a day or two, and
it's so, can I say, in short, it's so fucking stupid. Y'all need to go get a life. I really, really pray in 2018 we spend a little less time on the internet, a little less time listening to what the hell others are doing. And like, there is no way someone can come to me in high school, elementary school, whatever, because I feel like it's that demographic, and sit here and say, hey, I tried a Tide Pod. Do you want to do that too? I'm like, nigga, no. Actually, and why the fuck are you doing it? That
I
would
don't
be my
get it.
exact sentiment.
Exactly.
So
I don't get it. And I see, apart from some people chewing the Tide Pods and licking it, whatever, I saw somebody else snorting Gain laundry detergent. Why are you snorting? Hell, I just don't understand it. I just don't get it. Like, why
so
you would
imagine telling your mom like, oh, like I got in trouble or I'm really sick because I ate detergent. Imagine telling your mom.
I couldn't imagine. I couldn't even tell my mom that. And I think this kind of leads to a bigger issue with social media, and hopefully one day we'll get maybe like I guess like a clinical psychologist, or I don't want to say clinical, but just someone who's published, who's well versed in psychology, because I really want to see the effects of social media on society.
Listen. Let me tell you something. You don't even need a license, a clinical, or whoever psychologist. I will tell you from Gigi perspective what it is. Gigi, the fake psychologist. These children, okay, and there's always something like a generational wave that kids are doing and whatever. I could even understand. And this gonna sound fucked up. I could even understand if it was doing some mind altering effect. You wanted to do no, you were literally chewing iPods. Wow, Tide Pods because
they look colorful
because somebody else is doing it because it looks colorful. Ooh, I feel like smacking y'all. There's something.
It's crazy because I think what's even more bothersome is that it's made the news and people feel the need to actually, like, I couldn't even imagine me trying to tell my sister, who's I guess around that age range, hey Chima, you shouldn't chew Tide Pods because they're not good for you. Like, what kind of conversation is that even? I don't even get it.
A dumb one.
I don't even get it. But I said, I don't want to spend too much time on it. I just want to touch on it because I've been seeing it all over the place. And all I want to say, apart from what I've already said, I think this is natural selection working. This is the Lord. This is nature taking its course. And I think that because we do have an overpopulation of human bodies, I think that it is necessary to let these people just go off nicely. It will be sad for a period of time, but it is necessary to keep the earth the way it's supposed to be. So let these people chew on.
Well, speaking of, overpopulation and stuff like that, did you see the thing about China and how there's a shortage of women? Girls, yeah.
Yeah, see, this is what happens when patriarchy rules us all and people are just dumb, because at one point in time, China thought that all they needed were all males because I guess males brought good fortune. So they were aborting female fetuses and whatnot. And now that you have an overpopulation of people and shortage of, shortage of women, you're looking back like, maybe I shouldn't have aborted that baby.
Which is very wild because I don't know. Did you think so? My point is, okay, they're going to bring good fortune, but who is going to create the legacy?
They're about to start exporting some Chinese women, bro. We'll take some and send them back. You need to start making some Chinese women in the labs. They've already started making sex bots, so they need to make some Chinese women in the lab. Man.
And you know what's crazy? How you call people mail order brides? Like, they're going to have to mail order their own women back home. Like, come home. I need to, carry on the family name.
There's going to be a lot of husky ass Chinese men because they're going to be beating their meat for a long ass time.
That right hand going to get a lot of action.
Bro, you're going to see some buff Chinese men, bro. Start some powerlifters because that jerking.
That's what I said. When they decided to birth the females, what?
Bro.
So
shout out to them. Goodness. I don't know. I guess, I have a bone pick with Chinese people too, though, but whatever. They don't like black people, so whatever. That's a hot take, but I'll talk about that another time.
I'll save that for another episode.
But moving on though. In addition to what went on recently, if you guys are on social media, have been watching the news, you've seen that H&M had this ad issue where they thought it was all right and cool to put the coolest monkey in the jungle hoodie on a little black boy. I don't know what's going on with the personnel at H&M, but this was terrible. This was a terrible idea. Even if you didn't mean this in a racial manner, the fact that you know what kind of climate we live in, you have H&M stores in America. So even if you say maybe you're in the UK, it's not perceived as, I think this was done in Sweden or UK, one of them, that you're not really maybe race is not a big issue there. You have H&M stores in the U.S. I would think that you guys communicate as to, things that are maybe sensitive in society, so you don't step on those things or, cause people problems. But apparently not, because you thought it was okay to put this coolest monkey in the jungle. And don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not even one that's always like everything race or looks at everything through a racial point of view. But this is just dumb. Like, it was just dumb.
It was dumb, and I feel like I have the unpopular opinion about it. Well, it's not really much of an opinion at all, because I understand the implications of them putting the coolest monkey in the jungle hoodie on that young Black boy. And I think, that with everything that is going on, like you said, and all the, I guess, inclusiveness and diversity stuff that you hear a lot of companies preaching, y'all really did miss the mark on that. So for them as a company not to recognize that, I think it's just dumb. Because with everything going on and how we're all attacking brands for not being inclusive and things like that. We even attacked Shea Moistures because they started putting a little, racially ambiguous girls in their little
which was very dumb, by the way. I mean, dumb in terms of the fake outrage that went on. But again,
I didn't feel that outraged.
We could talk about that another time, but that was not even needed for us to start yelling and be up in arms about Shea Moisture. I'm not going to touch that. Whatever. Back to
right. So my point being is, with all that stuff going on, I feel like you guys definitely missed the mark. I feel like you need to reach out to people of different cultures and different races, the implications of what you're doing and how things can be perceived. But with that being said, me personally, I wasn't that bothered. Now, I don't know if I'm not that bothered because I feel like I'm starting to get immune to this stuff. And I feel like they are well aware of what they were doing. So if they wanted to do that, they don't give a fuck. And I don't know why, like, I guess the outrage is there to raise the awareness of what they did is wrong. But at that point, I was just like, man, it's another thing that another company is doing to assert little microaggressions here and there. You know what I'm saying? So for me, I honestly wasn't as angry as I probably should have been. I read it. I was like, I understand what, the implications of them having that hoodie on that young boy was. But after that, I didn't feel anything else outside of that.
Funny enough, I was talking to my mom and my uncle about this yesterday. And my mom, surprisingly, who's very, I'm sure the Black people deserved it type of person, as most African mentality, Africans, I guess first generation Africans are in America. Actually, no, is that right? No. Yeah. Well, first generation. Anyway, as much of our African parents and Caribbean parents are, they're very, I'm sure the Black people deserved it, or there's more to it, or let's see both sides and stuff like that. My mom was very, very, which is surprising. She was like, she would have been upset about it because, the mom eventually came out and said that we need to get over it, that we see everything through racial eyes and everything is just kind of like, gas for no reason. And so many people got on her for saying that, oh, she's getting paid, blah, 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 which is why she doesn't see that. But,
the mom?
Yeah, the mom. And surprisingly enough, I said my mom was kind of like saying that, she would have been upset because, there's no reason why you should put Coolest Monkey in the Jungle on a shirt for a Black kid because, that why are you trying to call them a monkey and stuff like that, which is like, I mean, I'm guessing maybe she's been in America for a while now, or she's starting to see a lot, she's turning around to seeing the little things going on in society as opposed to just work, pay bills and stuff like that, right? But in reference to his mom, which is Miss Terry Mango, she was saying that, a lot of people need to get over it. And so many people attacked her for saying that because they were like, oh, she's getting paid, she's one of the sellouts, blah blah blah. But a lot of people, which is what most people do in these situations, or in most issues, they don't really look at the nuance to it. They overlook the nuances. To them, it's really just black and white. They don't try to understand where people may be coming from. And somebody on my timeline broke it down very well, which broke it down eloquently. Vivian, very good. Hopefully, I get her on the podcast soon. But she broke it down very well, saying that when it comes to Africans, we do see a lot of issues from more so the lenses from the lens of someone who was colonized as opposed to somebody who was enslaved. So that we have a very different outlook on things. So the issues or the way we may see things manifest completely differently because we were colonized. We come from a significantly black nation, continent where we're used to seeing black, and the issues aren't necessarily racism per se. So when she sees something like that, her first thing in her head may not be, oh, they're trying to call me black, or
right,
or they're trying to come at me or something like that, and which I definitely understand. So there's definitely a lot of nuance to it. But at the end of the day, I do think that companies do have to be aware of what's going on. This is why you need people in those positions, to make these decisions. And you can't really tell me that everybody in the whole office, saw that ad or saw him wearing the coolest monkey in the jungle and thought it was okay. Maybe they were tired. Maybe because the mom did say that they did have a lot of, I guess, photo shoots, and he did wear a lot of shirts. So maybe that could have escaped them. So there's so many to it. But at the end of the day, you do need people who are cultured enough for who know exactly what's going on and who are keen to these things.
So how do you feel about the mom, I guess, not really caring? And do you feel like it is because she's getting paid?
I mean, I'm sure something has to do with that. I mean, at the end of the day, like, listen, you still got bills to pay, right? These bills don't stop whether or not you're for racism or against racism, whether you want to be as socially conscious as you want to be. These bills are always going to come. With that being said, I mean, I can't necessarily tell her what to do or how to get her money. If she saw no problem with it, I mean, she saw no problem with it. I personally don't think that there was any reasons to get up in arms for her comments, or if she did it for money, because like I said, everything is nuanced. There's a reason why she's not as outraged as somebody who maybe a Black American who has, who was enslaved, then over time, generationally was affected by the system. So things like this would have a deeper impact as opposed to somebody who was colonized, maybe wasn't even born, when they gained independence, or maybe was still young when they gained independence. You have people who look like you, these systems look like you. So, you have people in power in your country who do have money, and it may not necessarily be the system holding them down in a racial way, but more so in, I guess, when it comes to a caste system or a class system. So it's very different as to how somebody or how she would react to it. And I can't be mad if she says it doesn't bother her, or it's not as big of a deal as maybe any other thing. I mean, who am I to really say? I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I can't get mad that she's not mad. That's a waste of energy.
Yeah, and I think it was weird that a lot of people were kind of like, why isn't she more outraged about it? And again, if she didn't feel outraged by it, to your point, who are we to say? Quite frankly, I feel like that's really more of an incentive for everyone to just move on. A lot of people are still going to be shopping at H&M.
And because the next day they had that 80% off, right?
They sure did.
I'm pretty sure a lot of people went shopping for that.
They sure did, because I picked up 2 jackets. Now, with that being said,
wow.
Okay. To my point, there are so many things working against us that I feel like we will have to overthrow the whole system. Now, I feel that yes, what they did was wrong. I do think what they did is wrong. I just don't feel that angry about it, you know? So with that being said, when I did hear that they were having a sale,
Okay.
I needed some jackets, and it just,
Wow.
I like the ones they had, and they were cheap.
And you know what's so funny? What's crazy? What's not necessarily funny, but that kind of action or what they did, knowing that people will still buy from them, is how you do keep people down. Because one major thing that we do lack as I guess a people is the ability to stay disciplined for a cause that we truly believe in. And this is a conversation I also had with one of my Lyft drivers, very great Lyft driver, Beverly.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but to your point, like so what you truly believe in, I feel like if you're not that invested into it, it's easy to overlook and be like, okay, they have an 80% off sale, I'm gonna go shop. You know what I'm saying?
But it's easy to overlook it, right? By the end of the day, if you're somebody that's partially or even somewhat socially conscious, which at this point, which you kind of would be because of the remarks that are coming with that 80% off, you would know that, okay, the only reason why we're having this 80% off is because, they mistreated or they depicted Black people in this way. So even if you're not socially conscious, you should at least kind of align yourself with the reasons as to why they're doing that and kind of stay away from that. Because the reason, if you don't, what's going to happen is that most companies are going to see that, okay, if we offend them, what we need to do is reduce the prices for a little bit of time. They're going to buy, and eventually everything's going to be good again, because eventually it is going to be good again. Everybody's going to go back and shop with H&M, and we're going to completely forget about this whole coolest monkey.
So what's the difference if someone does it during an 80% sale or they do it 2 months later?
So the point is you shouldn't. At the end of the day, the point is that you shouldn't want to give your money to a corporation or a company where you feel like they're not treating your people the way they should be. And at the end of the day, that's every individual's call. I can't.
So what is your call?
Personally, first of all, I don't shop at H&M. I'm too big for H&M, so I don't care about H&M whatsoever. But at the end of the day, I do know that I'm at a point, which is something funny enough, with I tweeted today. I'm at the point where I'm really tired of I won't say white people, because I think that's the people that we necessarily attack. I would say I'm tired of a system where the mistreatment of Black people is just okay. It's like okay, we can mistreat them to this certain degree, because at the end of the day, the sales are still going to be there. They're not going to be committed enough to want to fight back, or the profit margins are still good enough where we can still survive as a company.
Do you think if we were committed enough to not shop at H&M, that would make a difference for the corporation?
It would definitely make a difference, at least in America, because Blacks in America have, I think, if I'm not mistaken, the largest buying power there is. So we do spend a lot of money, and if you take away a lot of H&M's Black dollar, they're going to be affected by it, and they're going to.
But okay, they're going to be affected. But then, what does that do in terms of the bigger picture? So they're affected, and they don't make as much money.
Exactly, and when you don't make as much money as a company, people talk.
But they're a global corporation, so they can get their money from elsewhere. I'm not saying that's right, but I'm trying to get down to the cause. Okay, we stop buying from them, the Black people, as a collective, right, and affect their pockets. Now what? Okay,
now what's going to happen is, like, CEOs do talk. CEOs across the world talk. So it's not so.
So now they're pandering to get our dollar back. It's not that they care. It's not that they're pandering to get our buying power back.
This is what people have. This is where you have to decide whether you care about semantics and things like that. At the end of the day, the end justifies the means. So whether or not they're pandering, right? If they're treating you, it's like, you got to think about it this way, right? If you are in a poor community, right, and this guy who wants to be philanthropic comes with his money, saying he wants to donate money to you and things like that, right? But the reason he's really donating the money is to look good or make it seem like he's a humanitarian, as opposed to him really caring about you. But at the end of the day, you still get this money. You're still better off. I mean, at the end of the day, it really doesn't matter, like, because you're still getting the money. So whether or not that they're really doing it because they care, or they're just doing it just to to look good or whatever. The end should be the main result. So at this point in time where, okay, you don't shop at H&M, you take away their black buying power, this is affecting their pockets on a monumental level. They know that, okay, now what we need to do is apart from being socially conscious as, what's going on, we need to also maybe hire more people of this, of this demographic, maybe even look like we care and put them in a better position to succeed and know that H&M is on their side, whether or not you're really on their side or not. It comes down to you being able to put this demographic in a better position. And, as a person who's on the other end, you could say, okay, maybe they're doing it for fake reasons or whatever. But at the end of the day, if you're truly benefiting from what the company is doing, and whether they're doing it out of a good heart or not, you're still benefiting, but that's something that each person will have to decide on their own. But ultimately, my thing is that we want to be self-sufficient people, not saying that you don't want to support, other racist business, because that's just dumb. At the end of the day, the economy works by, people benefiting off each other, but you also want to have some kind of respect for your people and yourself to know that, hey, this company may not respect us, so let me not give them my black dollar. But at the end of the day,
so they don't respect us, and then they still don't really respect us, but they're just going to do what they have to do to, I guess, like you said, the end justify the means. So, okay, I guess because it is benefiting us, so we'll just turn and look the other way.
I mean, it's not turning looking the other way, because there's no way, you're not going to 100% know whether or not somebody is doing it for you or doing it just to pander. If Angelina Jolie wants to adopt all the homeless kids in the world and whatnot, some people are going to say, oh, she's just doing it to look good. Some people are going to say that she's doing it because she really cares. At the end of the day, what matters is whether or not that child is getting the best healthcare possible, is getting, is eating well, is succeeding in life. That's what at the end matters, because nobody's truly going to know what reason you're doing it for. And to some extent, everybody does something quote unquote good for some kind of selfish reasons, whether it is to feel good as a person because you want to give back, or whether you truly care or not, you're still doing it for some sort of reason for yourself,
So will you be supporting H&M?
Like I said, I don't shop at H&M, so I've never necessarily ever.
But for somebody else, there's other ways to support H&M.
I think I've bought, the last time I went to H&M was maybe when I bought, I think you guys something. Maybe this was like in college or something. Maybe it was something I bought from there. But I don't shop at H&M. Like H&M is just, to me, it's non-existent. I don't care about H&M. But that's just because I just don't shop in H&M, not because I didn't like them or whatever. But they.
So what do you think about? Sorry to cut you off. What do you think about the EEF or EFF?
Oh, the people
in South Africa trashing the store.
I think, to me, everybody has their ways of protesting stuff. There's the MLK point of view, and there's the Malcolm X, right, which is, I think, the most used comparison when it comes to I guess activism or justice. Mm-hmm. To me, I wouldn't take the route of vandalizing anything, because what's going to happen is that there are still people of our color in South Africa that are still going to have to, pick these up and fix things like that. And it also may put some people in a bad position where, they may get arrested. And I don't know how the justice system works in South Africa, but if I do know that a lot of white people in Africa do get some kind of superpower or decision-making power, where people feel the need they feel the need to want to prove something to white people. So, mm-hmm. If people that do get vandalized get caught, it could be even harsher sentences just because of that. I mean, I'm not one for that kind of violence or vandalism at all. I just think it was unnecessary, but I can understand why they did that. Now, a part of me also feels like they didn't do this because they really cared about, the whole coolest monkey in the jungle thing, because I do think that social media and Blacks in America did make it a lot bigger, obviously because of what we're going through at this point in time.
Right.
And And even when those I guess those vandalists kind of destroyed everything, they put it on camera to put on social media. So were they doing it for clout? I don't know. Were they doing it for some kind of recognition? I don't know. Did they do it because they really cared about the kid having the coolest monkey in the jungle hoodie? I don't know, because that, to me, that doesn't seem like a reason why I would vandalize a whole H&M, and now H&M has temporarily closed all its stores in South Africa. So they have some people who are out of jobs, not saying that, we should keep people oppressed in a company that doesn't care or value its black, employees just because of a quote unquote job. But people still have kids to feed and people still have bills to pay and things like that. So I just don't think it was the best way to go about things. I do think just because we live in a society where money dictates pretty much everything that goes on, that would have been the best way to affect it.
To vandalize.
Yeah, it's quote unquote. To vandalize the store, I guess, by not shopping there. Nobody comes,
right.
But
right. I mean, I feel like to your point too, people protest in different ways. If they felt the need to vandalize, hey, I mean, like you said, I feel like it was unnecessary. I don't know what that really does for the cause. So I think that was pretty much my take on it. I was just like, okay, well, it's vandalized. The store is vandalized. And now what? I guess in South Africa, they're not making any profits because the stores are closed down. So I guess that's one way it's affecting them. But on the grander scale, I mean, I don't know. But do you believe that H&M truly missed the mark on this, or do you think it was intentional?
I personally, I don't, unless, I don't see a reason why a company want to hurt itself, unless you have disgruntled employees who knew what they were doing and say, you know what, fuck it, I'm just going to put this out because I know how the optics may be, how it may look, or how the optics will play out. It's really hard to say. I don't know. I would hope and wish that they just, like I said, just dropped the ball on this one just because they couldn't, just because maybe they had a lot of shoots or had a lot of things going on and they just completely missed the mark. And plus, and all in all, the coolest monkey in the jungle thing, it sounds so dumb. Like, I wouldn't even bother my kid that hoodie.
Yeah, but not only that, and I think it's the implications too, because he is black. Yeah. But I mean, if it was on anybody else, obviously it wouldn't have the same outrage. It's just the implication that he was black. So let's just say, that ad was originally on someone of a different race, maybe white or Asian, and you saw the shirt in the store, would you still pick it up? Would you be thinking of that in your head? Like, oh, this is the message, or this is how this could be perceived if my child is wearing this? Or would you walk into H&M and just buy the shirt because it's a shirt?
I don't know.
Because a lot of children's stuff does have monkeys and stuff like that, So if you did see in a store, would you think, oh, I wouldn't buy this for my son because this is how this would be, or your child, whoever, this is how it could be perceived? Or would you kind of be like, oh,
maybe 5 years ago, no, or maybe even 3 years ago, no. I'll say 5, 5 to 6, but maybe not. But I think now we just live in a time or at this point in time, where everything race is just like, it's really on the forefront. Everything is really viewed from a racial point of view, racial lenses, and now you kind of just have to be wary of what you're saying, what you put out there, which sucks and also doesn't suck, because something as simple as this, maybe the editor did not, or the creative director, probably just didn't think anything of it, but I don't know. It depends. I don't know. It depends. But I honestly don't want to, we're hoping to not spend too much time on that, but I think, I just wish everybody would be a lot more sensitive to it. I mean, now H&M also, they did decide to hire a diversity leader. Why?
I mean, I don't know why it took them so long to do that.
But I mean,
but okay.
Like I said, this is all part of the whole the end justifies the means. Where now they're hiring, Black people or people of or within the culture to understand this. And, you could argue, oh, now they're just doing this just because of the whole thing. But at the end of the day, somebody does have a job now, that's within the community. And, it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to the point of kind of what I stated before, would I buy something like that? I guess in the implications now, like being fully aware of everything, no, but like I said, there's a lot of children's stuff that does have monkeys and stuff like that. So I guess now I got to just be wary of the kind of tone that sets. I don't know if I would have thought about it, to be quite honest, prior to. But yeah, so I think now definitely you'd be like, yeah, I'm not putting that monkey shirt on my child.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it is what it is. I mean, I hope everybody becomes more aware of everything that's going on and companies start to do better. But yeah, moving on though, you also sent me this lately. Well, not lately, but the Melinda and Bill Gates Foundation, or I should say the Gates Foundation, they decided to take on the polio debt that Nigeria took, that kind of borrowed from Japan to fight polio. In 2017, there were no reports of any polio cases in Nigeria, which is a very good thing, but they're still trying to find, completely eradicate it from the world. And it's a good thing that the Gates Foundation are taking this, because they've definitely taken on, this philanthropic work, head on, helping Nigeria, helping out India and stuff like that. So they're doing a very great job. Mm-hmm. I have an issue with a little bit of it. And I said it was trash when you did send it to me, just because.
Yeah. And why did you think
happy
it was?
that they're in the country helping out, because we definitely do need the help, and you definitely don't turn down help anywhere you can. But honestly, I do think in this case that Nigeria is being very, very, what's the word? I guess irresponsible. The loan was $76 million from Japan to fight polio. Now, I know Nigeria does have $76 million they can use towards healthcare. I don't know what our Minister of Health is doing or what they plan on doing. I mean, the loan was taken out in 2014 and was to be paid over a period of time. But I just don't understand why we had to take out the loan in the first place. Nigeria has enough money to dedicate at least to have $76 million. Maybe I'm being naive in terms of how the business or things work out, but I'm just, this kind of goes back to my bigger point where I'm just over the unnecessary help. There's certain things that I feel like we should be able to do ourselves and not have to seek out other people for it. And I know sometimes it does take time, because Nigeria and a lot of African countries and Caribbean countries have suffered at the hands of colonialism and the Western world taking from them and reaping them and, raping them from a lot of things that they have. But I do know that a lot of these nations are also rich and very poorly managed, which kind of leaves the people and the citizens of those countries suffering. So it bothered me just because I want us to take care of our own problems. I want us to be able to say, yes, we are a nation, we are a proud nation, and this is what we're going to do to make our country better, and which kind of leads over to the bigger issue, which we'll get to in a few minutes. But that was my main issue with it. I'm happy that the Gates the Gates are doing great work in Nigeria and around the world, trying to help and eradicate polio and all those other things. But I just feel like there's certain things that a nation, especially full of proud people, because Nigerians are like the New Yorkers of the world. When you hop into a new country or when it's time to rep your set, Nigerians be mad loud, just like New Yorkers.
We have a reason.
Like I said, I'm just at the point where I feel like we should be able to do for ourselves.
I mean, I figure about a lot of countries take loans from other countries to get stuff done. So yes, while Nigeria might have the money to, you know, eradicate polio or have the vaccines to eradicate polio, they're not the only countries that do it. I mean, countries do loan money from each other all the time. So with that being said, I think it's great that the Gates are agreeing to pay off the $76 million loan. And this is an agreement over 20 years. So it's not something that's happening overnight that, oh, they're just dumping $76 million to Japan to pay off Nigeria's debt. They're gonna is gonna be paid off over 20 years. And like you said, if they're in a position to help, why not? Is it frustrating that, you know, Nigeria can't sustain itself for the $76 million to eradicate polio? Sure, but think about, like you said, the ends justify the means. Just think about how many people are saved because they don't have to worry about polio. You know what I'm saying? And quite frankly, I guess I didn't realize that polio was still a major issue in the modern day. So I guess
that's that privilege talking. That's that living. Yeah, I mean,
it is. It is. It's not like there's something to deny. I really didn't know because it's not like it's a major issue here in America. Like where do you hear polio cases? And quite frankly, I didn't know like it was affecting that many people in other parts of the world. I didn't know. So it was nice to read up on it and hear that, okay, for the most part, it's gone. And now there's someone who is willing to take on that debt and pay for it. So
I mean, shout out to them, though. I mean, at the end of the day, we do want great shit happening. But anyway, like I said, which leads us to a bigger issue here. You know, I was saving this for last, which is our main topic. You know, our favorite, our orange colored president here, his remarks about, you know, shithole countries as it deals with, I guess, African nations and Haiti and El Salvador, you know, not wanting citizens from those shithole countries. You know, he was saying this, I guess, in a closed meeting as to why we're still accepting people from these countries when we could accept people from Norway.
Ain't nobody from Norway wants to come to. Oh my God! Oh my goodness! No, listen. Because I know somebody probably tapping our phones right now. These people from Norway or wherever else do not want to come to America. I mean, clearly there's Norwegians in America, okay? But for the most part, it's not like Donald Trump has really diminished what it is to be American, even though we've been doing that for ourselves for quite a few years now. Now we're at its peak. Like, why would they want to come here? First of all, the people from these shithole countries that you so claim, it's like, part of me is like, it's even hard to get offended because it's like, you're just being ridiculous at this point. Like, it's hard to get offended when I know, like, it's not even the case. When we know there's so many people from all these countries, Haiti, Africa, are doing so many big and prosperous things here. It's hard to sit here and be like, wow, oh my God, I'm so offended. Like, you and your shithole country talk and all these things, you just get out of office. I'm offended that he's still in office. I'm offended that we as a people have elected him to power. I'm offended that he is still our president. I'm offended that the Republicans sit here and defend the bullshit that he spews. I'm actually even quite offended at I even forgot his title, the medical examiner who did his report the other day, stated that he was in perfect health. If you don't get the fuck out of here, that's what I'm offended at. Not your shithole country comment, not all of that, because it's not true. You know?
Honestly, when he said those comments, I started laughing because, and I knew social.
How could you not laugh?
Social media had a field day where they were all up in arms, so angry. Oh my gosh, how could you say this? The president of the country, blah blah blah. And you know, there were a few things that came to my mind. You know, usually when a topic comes up, you know, you have, you don't really have that much information. You know, the first thing he said, the first thing I heard he said was that African nation, a lot of African nations and Haiti and El Salvador were shitholes. Now, I can't speak for Haiti. I can't speak for El Salvador. I can't speak for the other 49 plus, 50 plus countries in Africa. I can only speak for one, which is Nigeria. Upon hearing this, that Africa shithole, blah, blah, you know, I was like, you know what, Donald Trump, you were actually right. You were actually very correct. Nigeria is a shithole. But, you know, and there, obviously, if you're Nigerian and you live in a country there, or you've lived there for even a bit of time, or you visited at least one point in time, or you've heard the stories, or you have eyes, or you have ears, or you smelt Nigeria, or you have parents, if you've associated anywhere in Nigeria, you would know that Nigeria is suffering. Okay, And I can see why people would be upset by his remarks, because as a president, as a leader of the free world, as somebody who is empowered to enact, that can enforce changes and make policies, this is not somebody you want making these comments, because he has a power to prevent people from those nations coming into the country, to seek a better life. Especially when he says that he'd rather have people from Norway come to the nation, which, from what I've been seeing, Norway seems like a very decent place to live. Apparently they have very good, gender equality policies and things like that. So from what I heard, a lot of people from Norway don't ever want to come to the United States, which I can't blame them, but my bigger issue with this was which is kind of the overall theme for how I felt about this entire episode, from, the H&M thing and the whole Gates Foundation thing. It's like, I would like a country where my people would not have to don't need to come to another country to seek refuge. I would love to live in a nation, or have a nation where people can stay in their country, utilize the resources that are there, have a great life, go to school, have good health care, leave school, have a great job. And if you want to leave the country, come to other countries for vacations and things like that. Why Nigeria is still suffering from, basic things like electricity, food, education, healthcare. These are things I don't understand, especially in 2018. And yes, understand this is me being very nuanced about the topic. I understand that we have had colonialism issues. All of Africa has, except for maybe Eritrea and Ethiopia or so, and things like that. Who weren't colonized, but yes, at some point in time, yes, we were colonized. There's still this colonialist, mentality, going on within the people in that country. There are, the Europeans and Westerners, they have raped the continent in the sense where they take all our resources, a lot of our resources, and just pretty much enrich themselves with it and give us pennies, if that, for our natural resources. I completely understand that. But at what time do our leaders feel ashamed by Donald Trump's comments, or ashamed that they live in this country where they have to leave their nation to come and start to form big boy with the other people of the world, to feel like, oh yes, we have money too, blah, blah, blah. When the people in your country who have elected you to power cannot even eat, they cannot drink water, they cannot see lights. I just don't understand. So, when you said the shithole comments, I completely understand why everybody's outraged. I completely get it. But I was hoping that would shame our leaders to start to enact some kind of change within the country to want to make it better, because I don't understand why my people have to come and seek refuge. Yes, at this point in time, everybody now use that, they use the opportunity to post their resumes on Twitter. Oh, I have a 4.0 GPA. I school. I got Summa Magna, Papa Claude, or whatever it's called, Magna Cum Laude. I work at 5 jobs. I speak 10 languages. I'm part of this organization. I do this and I do that. That's great. That's what's up. I mean, yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
that's a
man,
lot,
there's a
but at the
lot
end
of
of the day,
people
it's
doing
like,
some things out here.
cool. I mean, and they were like, and they're so proud to say, "Oh, I'm from a shithole country." Do you understand how stupid you are? You're very stupid.
Yeah, I was
I'm
like,
a
I
shithole
saw a
country, and this
T-shirt
is
too,
part of
and I was like,
this whole agenda
hmm.
where people don't want to be really honest with themselves, and that's one of the things that's really bothering me. Like, why are you lying to yourself? You don't really like the predicament you're in. Like, you don't understand why are you proud of being part of stupid things? If your friend is jumping off the beach, you jump too. Why do you want to be part of shithole country? Eh? Just because it's Donald Trump that's in office, the man is. You know what? I'm just.
But you know what? It goes part into when people
That's
try to
stupid.
reclaim something that's negative. And wait, but that's when I feel like was done because they try to reclaim, like, okay, well, you're going to say I'm from a shithole country. Well, let me show you what this person from the shithole country has done. But quite
Bro,
frankly, I
Donald
don't
Trump
feel like
doesn't
we
care
need to
about
even
that.
prove
Do
anything
you
to
understand?
anyone
He does
because
not care. So you're
we
trying
know
to. Everybody's
he
so
does
up and
not.
on. Oh, Donald Trump said this, but bro, like we all knew who this man. We all know who he is. You know, and what even makes me even more sick is like I know for a fact that there are so many people that are using this as part of their agenda to get Donald Trump out of office. A lot of people that you're seeing who are so-called outraged by the comments he made don't really care about these nations, bro. They don't care. They do not care about these nations. So they're all shouting with you, "Oh my God, Donald Trump, he sold this, he sold that." Bro, they don't care. All these people, all these Democrats that are crying on national TV, the Cory Bookers and all that. Not saying he's not a great guy, but for some reason, I don't believe them tears, bro. I don't believe those tears at all. None whatsoever. Like you're part of the nation, and I know for a fact that if he was to get elected into power, he's going to be one of the ones. He's going to join the cycle because everybody before they hop in the Oval Office has all these plans to do this and to do that. When you hop in the Oval Office, you're still going to be bombing these nations. You're still going to be going to Congo and getting cold hands. You're still going to try to disrupt governments because that's how the United States are. So, bro, miss me with all these tears, B. Miss me with all these things I don't care about. It comes to the point in time where Africa has to realize that, yo, we need to do this. And I understand that it's very hard to get up under the thumbs of the world power because, things like what happened in Zimbabwe can happen where you have $1 million Zimbabwean dollars or whatever they're called, because you print up so much dollars because nobody wants to I guess, trade with you and stuff like that. But I just don't get it.
Right.
I'm just tired, and which is pretty, like I said, which is what I've said. I'm just tired of not being able to take care of ourselves. I'm just tired of having to look to people to get help for things that we should be able to help ourselves with. I'm tired of not being empowered. Everybody's so unapologetically black, this and that, blah, blah, blah. But it's like nobody ever wants to really face reality. It's this whole fantasy thing that I think social media has definitely propped up, and nobody wants to be real. Everybody wants to be just so fake activists. Like, get out of here with that. And I understand that. Mm-hmm.
And I think, sorry to cut you off. But you were going for a minute there. Just talking. I was like, all right, he has some things to get off his chest. I'm gonna let him cook. But I think that's part of it too, from everything that we're kind of talking about. It's a lot of fake outrage. Like, oh, I'm gonna feel upset. Like, are you even really upset, or do you see that everybody's upset? So now you upset because we all know at the end of the day, when push comes to shove, or it's gonna be forgotten about, and then let's move on.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we get outraged for a little bit, and we forget all about it. But how many all these people that have been outraged? How much have they done for Nigeria, Haiti, El Salvador, all these places? And it sucks. I get why Haitians, to me, would be seriously upset because the French have pretty much raped the Haitians. America has raped the Haitians. They've been promised so much in terms of getting help by the Clintons in terms of, building houses and things like that. And they've just been getting the short end of the stick. They've been getting plastic rice from China, this and that. It's just like, there's so many things going against Haiti. And I can see, in addition to the corrupt leaders, I can see why they would, they would be genuinely offended because the people need to come here to find a better life. But at what point do we say, yo, these niggas don't care about us? They don't. When are you going to fix the country and help your own people? I don't get it, man. I just get
Mm-hmm.
so frustrated because Nigerians piss me off, man. And I guess I love them so much, which is why I'm getting so pissed. But man,
But to your point, of trying to help ourselves, it's frustrating because
so many.
it comes from so many angles. And I know, like, even when I was in Ghana, and it was a lot of conversations that we were having in terms of trying to start businesses in Ghana, because me and Dorothy were interested in that, trying to start businesses, how that works, how corruption is tied into that, and all this stuff. And then sometimes you just get so angry because it's like, damn, we corrupt in America too, but goddamn, we try to help the people out a little bit. But it's like, they, like I said, it just comes so many angles. And I think most importantly with the shithole comments, it should really show you, because Donald Trump is so brazen with it, because the Republicans are brazen with the fact that they're going to act like it didn't happen and even try to defend what he said, really should show you they do not give a fuck. We need to stop trying to seek approval from these people. Like, oh, we from a shithole country. Oh my God, I'm so offended. Are you really? I don't know. I think we need to point the conversation elsewhere as to what we can do now to really help each other. And that is going to take years. I mean, years and years and years of one, trying to overthrow certain practices that are currently in our governments in Africa, in the Caribbean, in all these countries that he named shithole countries, El Salvador, stuff like that. There's a lot of work to be done, but I don't know. I couldn't get out. I couldn't feel offended by that comment because it's like, who are you, Donald Trump? Everyone from these countries have contributed something to society. They're doctors, they're lawyers, they're taxi drivers, they're whoever. You know what I'm saying? Like, everybody comes in here and they do what they have to do. Even if the ones they come in here and they're not being upstanding citizens, either way, there's enough of us here who are grinding day in and day out. So if you want to sit here and talk about you want to take more people from Norway, then move to fucking Norway.
I have the power to make the change that I wanted. I'll pack everybody's things. I will go back to Africa. Honestly, we'll go back to Africa. I'll go back to Caribbeans. We'll go back to everywhere. I'll leave this country for the people who want to stay here, because like I said, there's no reason. At the end of the day, the mission, the vibe is go where you're appreciated. Go where you're wanted. And if it was up to us where we could have our natural resources to be live, I will go back to Nigeria without even blinking my eyes. I will go back instantly. It just sucks that the opportunity to be better, to get to a better place, it's here. I have to go through this medium to, I guess, kind of get like a expedited way of making it in life, as opposed to going to Nigeria and trying to go through somebody I know and going to school there, blah blah blah. But I don't know. It just bothers me that everybody is just so, I won't say fake outrage, because I can't dictate. I can't tell you what to be upset about. But I don't think that this is something that people should necessarily be so angry about. If anything, it should really open up your eyes to what we need to do as a nation and as a people, ultimately.
I agree 2000%. And I think too, I started questioning myself because a lot of stuff is it's not really phasing me anymore. It's kind of like, here he goes again. Shithole country, what's next? Are we any closer to getting him the F out of office? That's really what I want to know. Then it's like, even with the H&M thing, it's like, okay, the hoodie, I understand why everyone is upset about the hoodie. I understand why everybody's upset about the shithole country, but I don't know
if it's almost in a sense like a defense mechanism for myself, that I try not to even invest too much energy into that. And what does that mean too? Like, does that mean I'm kind of complicit in terms of everything, like everything that's going on, because I don't feel as outraged? Sometimes I sit here and I'm like, why don't I feel as outraged as others? Is it because I really am trying not to invest my energy into those things? So it's kind of like I'm just taking the information, dropping it, and focusing on something else. You know, I started to ask myself those questions too, because I don't also want to come, like I said, and I've said in other episodes too, start to become so immune to the chaos and all these things that are going on that I start to lose sense of, you know, what is urgent and what is really affecting our community, because it's a lot and you will literally be outraged all the time. So I think in order for me to like not internalize everything, it's kind of like,
and that's another thing. I don't.
This is upsetting, but let me move on.
I don't want to get so caught up in everything, because when you get caught up in so much, you definitely lose sight of you know, I won't say the main issues, or like you get desensitized to a lot of things. You know, by the time you see enough murders at a point in time, you know, murders are going to be like, oh, you know, Tommy just got shot last week. It's cool. What you about to eat though? You know, I don't want a situation where that happens, where everything gets to be so, I guess, inflated. If I could say, I can't think of a better term right now, but that we just start to gas every single thing. And when a real issue comes up, you know, white people or whoever is in power are going to say, oh, there they go again, just yelling again. Don't give it about 3 more weeks. They'll be back down again. You know?
Yeah, and I think that's part of it too. I think because like I said, there's just so much, like, especially if you're involved in maybe social media or you are taking in the news a lot, there's just so much going on that I don't even think in your mental capacity that you have time to really feel a way about everything, because it's like,
you can't.
You know, for your mental health as well, it's like you can't take everything on that you're reading, what you're hearing.
Yeah,
so I think just to keep that in mind too, because I do think that all the time. I'm like, I really do not want to become desensitized, and I think, quite frankly, I'm pretty much almost there. It's like, here we go again. We're outraged about something else. This is how it affects us, but quite frankly, it's like life goes on. So it's like, and a lot of stuff too is like, what can I really do about Donald Trump saying something about or calling us a shithole country? Like, how long can my outrage last? It's like, I could be upset, but then what? Yeah. So I think for me, I don't want to expend too much energy on something in the immediate sense that I can't really change or do anything about.
Word.
But I do think there's certain conversations to be had, but after the conversations that are had, it's like, okay, we need to start.
A lot of people come at hoteps all the time, but I think, you know, hoteps are definitely necessary for society, because they definitely give you that balance. You know, you have your extreme liberals, extreme people who think that hoteps are too woke, but, you know, a broken clock is right twice a day. You know, they are very correct with what they're saying, how we should empower ourselves, and I completely understand it, even though there is definitely a lot of nuance to it, just like everything else. But I think that we definitely need to start empower ourselves and not really get offended by everything that somebody says, because you're just going to get to a point where nobody's going to take what you say seriously anymore, because you just get offended by everything. But, you know, I've said my piece. I'm at a point where I'm working hard now. I know at this point in my life I can't make the change I want to, but this is where the grinding phase begins, to where I can build up my career, get enough capital where I can take things back home. I can definitely improve my, you know, my people back home, whether it's through education, healthcare, you know, policies, and make sure that I am doing the best I can. Now is not the time for me, but definitely understand that, you know, eventually my ass is going back, and yeah. But it's all good though.
Absolutely. And I mean, like you said about the hoteps, they do go hard. Sometimes they're a little extreme. I was walking, and then the other day, some guy was like, I don't know. We was talking about something.
Good morning, my black sister.
And then, he was like, Queen, I overstand you. I was like, oh no. I was like, as soon as he said, my queen, I overstand you, why the first thought in my head was like, oh no. I was like, what I get myself into? Why we? Because they go. But I didn't pick up on it before because we were just talking and it was like I overstand. I was like, oh nah. Here it comes. I'm not ready. But to the point that they do go hard. Yeah. And I do think we need to empower ourselves. That ultimately, that's what a lot of this stuff comes down to. And a lot of it, like I said, is easier said than done. I'm sitting in my chair talking about empower. You know what I'm saying? And it's definitely more than that. And there's so many things that need to be considered. But quite frankly, I think a lot of times we just really also too, we like a shithole comment like that doesn't offend me because I know what my country and my people, and not only my country, like my fellow countrymen or from Africa and the Caribbean, I know what we're capable of. We all know people from these countries who are doing extremely well. I can't even be bothered by freaking Donald Trump sitting here talking about he want people from Norway. Then take them.
For real. Exactly. Like, then take them then. But, it is what it is. At the end of the day, to your point of us saying, you're sitting in your chair, we do have this medium where we can talk about this. And I know people who do listen to this can definitely, at least to some extent, agree with what we're saying. And, at the end of the day, not everybody is going to be on the front lines fighting. Some people use social media. Some people have a podcast. Some people have, are good orators. Some people everybody has their different ways. Everybody was doing it the same way. I don't think we'd have as much change as we should. Some people are talented in other things. So use whatever platform you can to make sure that you are trying to move the needle in a better direction, But apart from that, you got anything else to say? You got anything to plug before we dip out?
No, I just want to say that Donald Trump needs to...
I just want to say...
Really?
I love you. Okay,
he needs to get the F out of office. He needs to go. That's what like I stated before, am offended at. And that's the last thing I would say. And that's it. He gotta go. It's taken too long. I'm really shocked that he's still here a year later. I really, really thought he would be out of office by now. And I don't know what egregious act he has to do short of murder that needs to get him out the office. But we need to get him out and he needs to go. And that's it.
Word. We hear that. Hear. But apart from that, guys, that's it. If you have more to say on the topic, if you don't like what the fuck I said today, I'm curious. But guys, if you didn't agree with anything we said today, definitely hit us up. Use the Ask Both Sides hashtag on Twitter. Hit me up on my personal Twitter. Hit Gloria up. I prefer you use the hashtag. If you don't agree with what you're saying, or you definitely agree with what you're saying, fuck with us and let us know.
I know some people are definitely not going to agree with what I
said. Well, apart from that, if Gloria has nothing to say, I would like to say thank you guys for another week of taking time out to listen to us. It's a Both Sides Podcast. You have a great one.
Freedom. Shut up.